Hello everyone! If you've clicked on this video, you're probably interested in getting some sort of certificate to be able to teach English as a foreign language. And there are many different types of certificates out there. You have online courses, in-person courses, there's the TEFL, the TESOL, the CELTA, the DELTA, and maybe it's all a little bit confusing and you don't really know where to begin. Believe me, I was in your shoes in the spring of 2014. Oh my gosh, the spring of 2014, I was in your shoes trying to decide which type of course would be best for me. So I'm going to share with you the things I have learned in those last 11 years. We'll talk about the different courses, the pros and cons of them to help you decide which is best for you. Let's start with the TEFL. This is probably the most popular course and the most common course. A lot of TEFL courses are 120 hours of coursework. These can be done either in person or online. And the cost varies depending on whether you decide to do it live in person or if you choose to do it online. I chose to do my course with TEFL Worldwide Prague, and it took about a month. In the morning, we would have different classroom sessions where we would learn different skills, how to teach English, how to teach reading, how to teach writing, speaking, listening, those sorts of skills, as well as how to teach different grammar points. Then in the afternoon, we were able to work with actual students to practice those lessons that we've prepared. And we had an evaluation by our instructor. If you have the opportunity to take a course in person, I would suggest that you do it. But maybe you're short on time and you are traveling and you want to get your TEFL certificate really quickly because you would like to work online for companies like VIP Kid or Preply or another online English teaching platform that requires you to be TEFL certified. Then there are different programs online that you could take to get your certification really quickly. Some of them I think can even be done in a weekend. But I would caution you to be careful when choosing a program that's online, especially when choosing a program that's pretty cheap, because in terms of these sorts of courses, you get what you pay for. My course costs about $1,000 to go there to learn all the things, and it was the 120-hour course at the time. It might have changed since then, but yes, it was in person. We got a lot of practical information, as well as we were able to practice with real students. So that's the TEFL course. It's generally accepted worldwide. It's really common. You can use it for online teaching platforms as well. Then there is the American cousin or North American cousin called the TESOL. The TESOL is more common in countries where English is the main language. And then you have teachers who are looking to help maybe foreigners or immigrants to that country learn to speak English as a foreign language. So the TESOL certificate in general is extremely similar to the TEFL certificate. It just tends to be more common in North America. Again, they have different programs that you can take either in person or online. And I would say these courses in person also take about a month. Personally, if you have the time and you have the money to do an online course, to do an in-person course, I would absolutely recommend doing the in-person course. In the US, we also have something called the Masters of Arts in TESOL. Be careful with this because it is essentially a master's degree in teaching English as a foreign language. And this degree you get by attending an American university, and it costs a lot of money. I don't recommend you doing this as your first qualification for being able to teach English as a foreign language because it's pretty costly. And if you decide that you don't want to do this as your job, well, you've spent a lot of money. I know that may happen in other areas and other studies regarding US universities, but that's another conversation. So the TESOL and the MA in TESOL are two different things. Here, I would recommend you to take the TESOL course and maybe hold off on the MA in TESOL. We'll talk about that a little more later on in the video. The third option is the fancy British cousin to the TEFL and the TESOL, and that is the CELTA. The CELTA tends to be the most prestigious of these three intro certifications because it's backed by Cambridge. Cambridge is one of the main producers of a lot of the materials for teaching English as a foreign language. They kind of are the main authority figure at the moment, along with Oxford. So the CELTA course being backed by Cambridge kind of offers it more of a prestigious kind of feeling. It's like the Harvard of teaching English certificates, if you will. This means that it also costs a little bit more than a TEFL course or a TESOL course. But if you are looking to teach English in a country that is much more competitive, some of the countries in the Middle East and the cities in the Middle East, such as Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, they're a bit more competitive. So they like their teachers to have a more prestigious kind of certification. Again, you have the option to take this course either in person or online. And again, sometimes you can judge a course by how much it costs. Maybe the quality will be a bit better. But I would generally suggest that you kind of shoot for something sort of mid-range. Then we have the DELTA. The DELTA is the Diploma of Teaching English as a Foreign Language. So this is the equivalent of a university degree, a master's degree. In order to be able to take the DELTA, which also happens to be backed by Cambridge, in order to be able to take the DELTA, you first must have another one of those qualifications, either the TEFL, the TESOL, or the CELTA, plus at least 2 years of experience teaching English. So this is kind of the more formal degree. It's more focused on course development and theory and different teaching techniques, more so than the practical things of just learning how to teach English as a foreign language in the beginning. So this is something that you would take if you would like to expand your career, maybe moving into teacher training or course development or curriculum development and different things like that. Which brings me back to the master's in TESOL. This would be comparable to a DELTA certificate, but the master's degree in TESOL is probably going to cost you a lot more money because, as I said, you can get them from different universities in the US, and it should be common knowledge now that American universities are very expensive. So the ones I've seen online might cost you about $20,000 per year for a 2 to 4 year course. That's a lot of money. Whereas I've seen DELTA courses from around $3,000 to $5,000 or $3,000 to £5,000, and they tend to take about the same amount of time. So if you are someone who has been teaching for a long time and you wish to expand into a more teacher trainer role or curriculum development role, then either the DELTA or the Masters in TESOL could be something for you. So just a quick recap, the TEFL, the TESOL, and the CELTA are all the certificates that you could take to get started with teaching English. Which one you choose depends on which is in your budget, and which you choose depends on how quickly you want to get your certification. Again, I would recommend, if you have the time and if you have the money, to do an in-person course, because the things that you will learn there are just phenomenal. They really help you to build your confidence in the classroom by being able to get the feedback directly from your instructors. If you are interested in expanding your English teaching career, then the DELTA or the Masters in TESOL could be the right choice for you. Again, it's completely up to you what is the best option, do your research, explore around, but now you have a bit more information on which kind of course is related for which kind of area. So if you're someone who is interested in a more prestigious course, I would recommend the CELTA. But if you're kind of just getting started, then I might recommend the TEFL. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments about teaching English as a foreign language, whether it be to get your certification or questions about how to go about interacting in the classroom after you have that certificate, feel free to leave a comment in the box below. I like to make videos to help out new teachers as well as teachers who are interested in teaching CLIL, content and language integrated learning, which allows the teacher to teach their subject in English to students who don't speak English as their native language. I truly believe that CLIL teaching is going to be the way of the future. It is a fantastic thing to do. It really helps your students to learn not just the language but also the subject, and it's a lot of fun for both teachers and students. All right, everyone, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.